Hi everybody, this is John in Lawrenceville. This is my bed bug update for these bed bug traps that I have. Now, I was going to wash my dishes at the same time, but I realize now I just can't do it. How can I put this? There you go. What I did is I stopped using the first bed bug traps I had, which were a great success. I mean, unbelievable success. You see the video, you can see hundreds of the babies stuck to the bottles, presumably dead. And the big ones are in there. There's like 100 out, all the traps I had together, like 100. And I dumped out the liquid and threw the traps in the trash, except for these containers. The bottles I threw in the trash because they had the dead bugs on there. Hopefully they were dead. Anyway, I threw them away. Anyway, I got these, and I taped paper towels in here. Now, the sad part about this is the first trap I did is whatever the amount of the liquid's in that bottle. Let's say it's 20 ounces. I poured it in here and filled it up a little more than halfway, which was fine. My idea was the bugs would climb up and go into the water because they're attracted to the CO2. And I wanted to keep the CO2 from being dispersed very quickly by the fan in my living room. So I put the lid that comes with this container on top. Now I had these skewer sticks left over from cleaning out my expanding foam containers. They're straws. Long story. I got enough video on that too. Anyway, so I taped them on here, thinking, okay, I can put them like this, and there's enough gap in there they can go in, fall in, and die or drown, whatever. Now I had 3 or 4 of these. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 of these in the living room where the fan is blowing heat throughout the house. 3 of these underneath my bed, and they were all, like I said, half full of living. 1 of these in the living room had a bed bug on the lid in here, right here. I'm like, how'd you get up there? I don't have paper towels, hanging up on here for them to get on there. So he or she found some way to get on there. When I lifted the lid up and tilted it a little bit, just pick up the lid, and I seen him, he fell into the water. Other than that guy, and another container just like this, had 2 of them on the lid, big ones that I could see plain as day. I purposely dumped them in the water. And then I looked in the water, and you ain't gonna see the babies in there because it's all cloudy, like milky, But there were no other big ones in there in any of my traps. And I had them set for 7 days. I was very upset, disappointed. Couldn't figure out why. Then I realized if you were hanging over a cliff or even a 2-foot jump into to a lake, and you don't see any way to get out of it, but you jump in, no matter how attracted you are to it, or fall in. So I believe they decided not to go for the plunge. So my next little trick, what was it? Man, I'm trying to remember what it was. Dang, I'm so tired right now. Sorry. My other idea, what the heck was it? What was it? Come on, I can remember this. What was it? Dang. So this didn't work at all. Okay, so I dumped that out, and dang, I'm trying to remember what the other trick was I did. Fudge. I even tell it on a video I made already, but I didn't want to publish it because I have my shirt off, so I had to make this one. What the frick was it? Okay, so that didn't work. Oh, I finally remember. I'm sorry. I can see it right here too. Okay. Woo! Man, I'm glad I finally remembered that. Anyway, so my next plan was, I got these bowls, and the little ring on the inside right here, I cut all the way around, got this ring off, stuck it in here, filled it up with the liquid, put the lid on there, same as before, and same gap as before. I caught, I think it was 5 bugs in all the traps total, all together, 5 bugs. I think I figured out why it didn't work on that either. The previous bottles were probably this big. Let's see. Yep, 20 ounces. It was this big. I think this was one of them. One of the ones that I didn't use, but I drank the water out of it. Anyway, look how much water this thing would hold compared to this bowl. I don't believe there was enough CO2 being made at the time for the bugs to get attracted to it as much as one of these bottles. So anyway, don't bother wasting your time filling one of these up and trying to catch the bugs. They don't want to go for a swim. Don't bother sticking a small container in there because they have a short bed like I do and my futon, because you probably ain't going to catch anything unless you get lucky. But I hate these bottles for one reason, because they're flimsy, they'll fall over easily. You gotta be careful when you pull them out from underneath the bed or drag them on the floor, or even when you lift them up. Now, let's say, I don't have the lid on here when it's full of water. I do this and I go, and still, I hate it. So I was trying to think of what else I could do. Oh, that's a dime, not a penny. Cool. I was thinking about what else I could try to do to do these traps. I could go back to the original design, which I probably will. I did go back to the original design. I took these traps out. I gave like 7 days for each one of those two kinds, and neither one of them wanted to work. So then I went back to my original, and it's been like 3 or 4 days. The very first day I did it, for my original design, middle of the night, got off work and everything. I'm like, I gotta get this done. I don't want any more bed bugs, bite me and stuff. Even though I haven't been bitten in a while because of where I sleep with plastic on it, and on the chair with plastic on it. Anyway, so I set it up that night. Very next morning, I went to work. They say the feeding time's between like 3 to 6 in the morning usually, because that's how where people are normally sleeping and stuff. And they kind of ever get you. Anyway, when I got home from work, I purposely went to these traps to check them out and see if I caught anything after only one morning. And sure enough, the one on the floor, away from the wall that's the fan's blowing onto, there's one bug in each of the 2 traps that were over there that I could see, the big ones. And I'm like, I'm happy. Made me feel good. So I didn't even bother checking the other ones. Then the next day I checked the ones underneath my bed, seen a couple of bugs in each one of those containers. I'm like, that's what it is, you gotta have a lot of that liquid in there. So anyway, I wanted to replace the water bottle. I couldn't figure out what to do. What can I do to have a better container? And I finally figured it out. I'll set that down. One more second, please. Sorry. Okay. These soup cans are 15 ounces. That bottle was 20. Now, I'm gonna rinse these out. I've already eaten out of them. I said, I'm not clean them out yet. I'm about to do dishes, like I said. Anyway, once I get the paper torn off, I got this big wrapping tape. It looks like Scotch tape, but it's like that wide. I don't even know how I got hold of that thing. Anyway, I'm gonna put 3 of these together, tape them, put this bag over all 3 of them. I've already done a dry run. I stuck these 3 together on the container, on the table. I put this over them, it'll fit over 3 of them. And one of these 15 ounces, so it's almost one of these bottles. I'm filling all 3 of these up. Now here's something else. Let's say I filled it up halfway with the liquid stuff. It slowly has to build up with the CO2, come out over the edge, fall down because CO2 is heavier than the air, and then disperse in the container, then fill it up and go out and over, trap the bugs. So my suggestion to anyone who does these traps, no matter how you do the traps, if you use the mixture, fill it to the rim with brim. Fill this thing all the way up. So any CO2 being made doesn't have to stay stuck in here and overflow the edges and go in the container and do its job. But once I get 3 of these, I'm taping them together, fill them up with the liquid. Now let's say all 3 of these have been doing their job for 2 weeks, like the first set I've done with the plastic bottles. I can easily, take the bag off, come over here, dump them out, rinse them out, and do it all over again. Now because these will be 45 ounces, one batch from each is 2 quarts, so 64 ounces. So I'm going to have approximately 19 ounces left over. And so that means for each one of these yeast packets that I'm doing, we'll only do one trap instead of 2 or 3, which is fine with me because it's pretty darn cheap. It's almost like $2, not counting the sugar. Anyway, it's all real cheap. Anyway, I want to attract these damn things and get rid of them as fast as I can. Now, these traps I've had out now, I think it's been 3 or 4 days, and I looked at them recently. They got the bugs in there, but not as plentiful as the first traps. I believe that's because that first wave that I caught of the damn babies that are stuck to the sugar water that was around the bottles. I must have spilled some over on the bottles a little bit while I was tilting them a little bit to go underneath the bed to set them up. So the bottles got wet and turned into sticky sugar water on the bottles. All them baby bugs are dead. So it's been, I'd say 10 weeks. Just pick a number out of the blue here. 4, 6, probably 10 weeks since I've started doing any of this. So that means plastic on my bed for 10 weeks, 2.5 months. And I haven't been bitten at all. I've been bitten in my freaking chair, my wicker chair. The darn thing poked holes in the plastic I had on there. And so I got rid of that wicker chair. Wasn't that great anyway. It was nice. It was kind of nice. It rotated around in a circle. Anyway, got rid of the wicker chair. And if I keep the plastic on the futon from sliding down my back, keep it staying on there, I don't get bit. I don't see any bugs. But as soon as that thing comes over a little bit, then bugs crawl out from somewhere. So here's my suggestion to anyone who does these traps and sees that they work, especially if you're a single person like me and you have kids running around or animals knocking things over. I have a plastic thing on my futon. It's basically like someone throwing a blanket on a couch to cover up the stains. That's what this thing really looks like. It's just white sheet thing. Anyway, that and the plastic on my bed. Now, what I'm thinking is when I leave for work, get one of these traps out from underneath wherever they're at, and lift the plastic up either on the couch or on the bed. I'm doing both, but lift it up, put the trap there, put the plastic back down. Make sure you leave something around it to identify it's there, so you don't sit on it or lay on it later on when you get home from work. Anyway, my idea is the CO2 that's coming out. These damn bugs, they want something to eat, but they're going to be attracted to that, and they'll go in and hopefully fall in the trap and die sooner or later. The reason why I'm telling you this, it's been 10 weeks, and I think it was like 2 or 3 nights ago, I laid down on my bed, I sat down on my bed, took my shoes off, and, not my shoes, but my socks. Take my socks off because I was getting ready to go take a shower. Because my little trick when I get in the bed is so that no bugs have crawled up my pants legs while I'm sitting on a couch or a chair and travel with me onto the bed or whatever. My little trick is I take a shower before I go to bed, but I got brand new underwear and stuff with me in my arms, and I go to the bedroom, sit on the bed, and that way none of my body is touching the floor, and I don't have any of the clothes on that I had that could have got transferred to bugs. Anyway, I sat down on the bed, took out my socks, I'm looking at my foot, and I see something out of the corner of my eye. And I have some stains on my bed, from blood stains from when I killed the bugs in the past. Brand new mattress, all of a sudden I had bed bugs. But I had the bugs before, but I didn't know they were bed bugs. And then I got the new mattress, and I found out they were bed bugs. And so now, anyway, before I figured out how to kill them with the traps, I look there, I see a big one. I mean, a nice size bed bug underneath the plastic on the corner of the bed. Now, for me, after I got his ass, killed him, and threw him in the trash, my question is how did he get there? Because I automatically assumed there were no more bugs there because it's been like almost 10 weeks. How's he still there? Why didn't he crawl down the side of the bed and smell the CO2 or whatever from underneath the bed, floating around, whatever, and go down the plastic, fall on the floor, go underneath there, and go to the trap and die? Why didn't he? And one or two things is what it is, I believe. One is the plastic covers the top mattress so well, they don't go anywhere. They're just waiting for lunch to come by. And they waited for 10 weeks. I've heard, I think on the internet, that they could live for like 70 days or hibernate for a year or something like that. But anyway, I believe that they stayed there and waited for lunch. or they found some way to get onto my bed underneath that plastic onto the mattress, which I don't believe they did. I think he just, he was there from previous and he never left. Him or his friends. I haven't seen anything else there. No other bugs whatsoever. But anyway, so my advice for doing these bed bug traps is once you have everything set up, fill the container completely full, right up to the rim. And you have it sitting in a container, so if you spill a little, it won't matter. It's in there, no harm, no foul. Use these plastic bags to help keep the breeze from whatever is in the area, someone walking by or whatever, keeps it from blowing your CO2 away from your trap. Because what good is having all these traps set up if the CO2 is being made before it can fall down into the trap, gets whisked away by someone walking by, or a little fan going, creating a breeze from one room to another, and you didn't know it was there and blowing it everywhere. So put plastic or something over it. And see, there's that. Oh, and stock up on sugar. Now, I don't know what the correct ratio would be for if they want to make this all scientific and recommend this, that, the other, but that guy used 2 cups of sugar, estimated, is what he said, but then when he's pouring that stuff in there, I'm like, man, that's more than 2 cups of sugar. Anyway, that's what I did. I used 2 cups of sugar. My first batch that I did, it worked great. It was, you've seen the video if you watched it. But, I didn't know 2 cups of sugar in a 5-pound bag of sugar, it goes pretty quick. I haven't used the sugar for anything else. I didn't make tea or Kool-Aid or anything, but it goes pretty quick. So, if you have bed bugs, I suggest 3 bags of sugar, and make sure you have containers to put them in so you don't get ants and stuff to further your headaches with bugs. But anyway, get more extra sugar, buy extra packets of the yeast. When I did my first batch, I put the hot water in the cup first, and then the sugar, or the teaspoon of sugar and half cup of water in the cup. Mix it together. It's hot water. Mix it together. Then I add the packet of yeast, stirred it just a little bit, let it sit. It foamed up, and then I got 2 quarts of hot water that I poured in my container, and mixed in 2 cups of sugar. Make sure it was dissolved really well, and then I got my cup of the foamy stuff, the yeast stuff, and dumped it in the container and dropped it in, pulled it out, dropped it in, pulled it out to rinse it out, get all the stuff off of it. And then I stirred it just for a second or two, and that was it. The reason why I'm telling you that is because one of my batches that I did, I put the yeast in first, put in the sugar, added the water, stirred it, and container. I stirred it in the big container of sugar water for quite a bit. And the reason I'm telling you that is because when I did the yeast in the cup first with the sugar and the hot water, 10 minutes later or so, it barely fizzled. There was barely any fizz. Now, I think I have that cup right here. This is the cup I use. It's an insulated cup. I don't know if that helps or not. Anyway, fill it right here, approximately, with the hot water and the sugar and the yeast on the first batch. And the foam was coming out like up to here, man. It's like ready to crest over. Like, man, that was like expanding foam. Cool. Dumped it in and all that. Well, the second batch, the one where I had the yeast first and then sugar and the water and mixed it and dumped it in and everything. Well, when I did it on this cup, came back 2 minutes later, if the water level was there, the yeast stuff was there. I'm saying I really didn't see any improvement or anything. I'm like, well, maybe it'll catch on later after it's mixed together in the other container. I don't know. Anyway, so I did a third batch later on, and did it the first way, and it foamed up like it's supposed to. So I'm telling you, that's what worked for me. This is all real cheap. The only hard part is for me, it's getting myself to do it because I've been working 13-hour shifts. Get home 7 o'clock at night, leave 4 to 6 in the morning. You figure that out. Anything else? Oh, after about a week or two, somewhere around there, if you start getting that beer stinky smell, where it's just light and all that, I recommend you go ahead and dump out that crap and rinse that out and start all over again. Because I got lazy and just let it set and set and set. I still didn't have any bugs in there, where I only had like 5, whatever. And just had that smell in the house, and it was getting stronger, and I was like, man, that's good. So, I fully recommend doing these traps to kill bed bugs. do study them on the internet to find out how long they'll last. Don't assume because you killed a bunch that they're all gone. Now, I did get a comment from one of my viewers saying that has had his home sprayed 3 times. He's in an apartment building 3 times, and he's on his 4th spraying. He said it did cut down each time that it happened. It did cut down a lot on the activity of the bed bugs. So, yeah, like it says on the internet, you know, there's no guarantee you'll get rid of them if you get a professional. I do want to get a professional. I really do. It's just, I work so much, I can't even call one up and say, hey, can you be here at 5 or whatever. Because I'm not going to be home at 5. I mean, I'm home at 7 o'clock at night. But anyway, my intention is, you know, keep doing these traps, kill them as quick as I can. But once I have time to have a bug guy come over here and spray the place, I'm gonna find out how often the cycle is for them laying eggs and when they hatch and all that, and I'll time it. If once they have sex and they lay